Well, welcome back to Running the 90s. How are all of you? We've been missing again.
But not as long this time, as Christmas is around the corner. But before Christmas comes, we have Hanukkah.
We do have Hanukkah, and Hanukkah actually this year was on December 7th. If anyone knows what December 7th is, say it with me. It's my birthday!
Happy birthday, Will!
Yes, and I turned 28 again for the third year in a row.
No, you didn't.
Don't worry about that. I've already decided that I'm going to, next year I'm turning 29 again.
So any single males out there, he is 28 and never aging.
Never aging. I am a black don't crack, you know. But with all that being said, today we're going to be talking about the Rugrats Season 4, Episode 1. It's one of those episodes where they have like the baby sounding name for it, but they don't actually say Hanukkah. They actually all can pretty much say Hanukkah, which I thought was pretty funny.
But we can't forget the extra
when you say it.
in Hanukkah.
So, before we get into what actually happened in the episode, I just want to first note, we are not a political thing, and we know that there are a lot of scary things happening out in the world to the Jewish people. And I don't feel like we are equipped to comment on that. We are not, researched or studied about that. But I do think it is, a good time of year, and it shouldn't discourage us from talking about a respectable religious holiday.
That has a lot of really interesting stories.
That had a lot of interesting stories. So, with all that aside, let's talk about this fun Rugrats episode. Hanukkah!
So the episode starts off with Tommy's grandmother, Minka, telling the story about Judah and King Antonica, and how Judah, portrayed by Tommy, rose up against the king of Greece, and him and his Maccabees fought against him.
As they're getting towards the end of the story, Minka closes the story to help Didi with latkes, which, if you haven't had latkes before, eat some latkes. They're good.
Especially with sour cream and applesauce.
Together. I know what you're thinking. They don't go good together, but they do. Put it on a toast, actually. Eat sour cream and applesauce on toast.
These things have clogged our people's arteries for 2,000 years, yet we survive.
The babies are not really sure what Hanukkah is, because I'm pretty sure at this point, Tommy is only 1 year old. So he probably has had Hanukkah before, but only as an infant. So he just have that memories. And Chucky, is not Jewish, which he's 2 right now. Or he's about to be 2 in this current year.
As Tommy is trying to explain to his other baby friends about what's been going on at his house, because he's like, everyone's just been acting strange. I have to put this hat on, my grandpa talks in this language that I don't understand, and then they light a candle.
Which I will say is a continuity error, because Tommy has worn that hat over before to Passover in the season before. So he knows what a yarmulke is. But I'm going to let that slide today.
I mean, he is a baby.
He is a baby.
So his memory probably is not actually that good.
Anyway, let's talk about my least favorite character, Angelica Pickles, the queen of the hour, daughter of Charlotte Pickles.
Secretly the devil.
Secretly the devil. Actually, not secretly the devil. Overtly the devil. So it's actually, she was really sweet in this episode. I'll give her that. I liked her a lot in this episode. She was just trying to find a TV to watch her show.
Cynthia and a very Cynthia Christmas.
Oh, yes.
And actually to the point where she described Hanukkah as
Special time of year between Christmas and Misgiving, when all the bestest holiday shows are on TV. Now, get out of my way.
Angelica will not be able to get to watch her show because they all have to go to synagogue to watch Tommy's grandfather Boris perform in a reenactment of the story of Hanukkah.
And what we find out as the family is going, Boris, Tommy's grandfather, has had this long time feud with this old friend from Russia named Shlomo. It's just, their feud is just insane. One-upping each other in one-up ways that doesn't even make sense.
I caught a cold, he caught the pneumonia. I start a family, he starts his fancy schmancy business.
Anyway, get to the synagogue, and there's also this I wouldn't even call it a C plot, maybe a D plot or an F plot, where Stu has this menorah car that he overdid again, and he's trying to get that to the synagogue, but he's having trouble.
Now we have to give Stu some credit. He is trying to be a very supporting husband to Didi and show that he's really invested in supporting her and her roots and being Jewish. It's just he doesn't know when to stop. So his fixing the menorah for the theater play turns into let's have a bunch of people dancing and dreidel spinning on it as it does other things.
They go to the synagogue and there's festivities going on, kind of akin to a mega church, less than a synagogue. I've never seen a synagogue like this, but maybe it's a mega church synagogue. I don't know.
So, a little earlier in the episode, before they left for the synagogue, the babies sort of misinterpret something Boris says.
Meaning of Hanukkah. Phew!
The meaning of Hanukkah.
So they connect us to that Shlomo, who Boris has this rivalry with, is the meanie who's bullying essentially Boris. And they decide that they're gonna do their best and protect Grandpa Boris from Shlomo.
Yeah.
And so, as the play goes on, the play about, Judah and Hanukkah, right when Boris and Shlomo are both on stage, the babies charge forward and protect Grandpa Boris.
And shortly after, they are banished to the aforementioned nursery. Along with Angelica, that is there for different reasons.
Mostly for stepping on someone dressed like a giant dreidel.
I broke a shin because of you.
But was taking her against her will. Was not like, I'm gonna find your mom, I'm gonna find your guardian. It's like, no, go to the nursery. Okay, but this is where it all comes together, so listen up. Angelica uses the babies and gets them in a lie because she says that whenever Grandpa Lou always falls asleep as soon as the TV gets on. So she uses them to get out of the nursery and then goes in to steal the TV to try to watch her special. She obviously had tricked the babies and now she's running with the TV. The TV breaks and now she's inconsolable.
So the TV breaks because she ran into Shlomo, who earlier had literally started fighting with Boris on stage. Like literally these old men were like punching each other. And they come into a somewhat sad understanding. They come into that point where you realize all your misunderstandings between each other. And Boris obviously comes out kind of as the bad person. He goes on telling Shlomo that you always went on about your pants business and stuff like that.
Is that what you think?
That's what you said.
So sue me, I lied. Sadie and I, may she rest in peace, but never blessed me children. All I had was my fancy pants business. Mr. Know so much.
So his business was essentially the replacement for not having kids. He never chose to not have them. He couldn't. Which brings to the point where Shlomo's like,
Here, I got no one to share our tradition with anyway.
And he leaves the stage just to run into Angelica. Her TV breaks, and she's inconsolable.
And then when she's crying, he picks up Angelica and she's still crying. And then Grandpa Boris comes over and tells him they want you to read the story to them. And so he comforts Angelica. Shlomo starts reading the rest of the tale of Hanukkah.
It all ends up coming to a finale where Sue comes in with his menorah that then, as he tries to turn it on, explodes. And revealing the curtain behind where Boris and Shlomo were with the kids, finishing up the tale of Hanukkah. And they finish up with Boris saying the prayers that you would say in this moment. And that's the end of the story.
That's the end. So Dana, what do you think about Hanukkah?
Well, I overall kind of don't know too much about Hanukkah. I mean, I know whatever my mom's friend told me about Hanukkah because she's Jewish, though at that time she didn't really celebrate it anymore because she said her kids were all grown up and a lot of her family is rather old. But I thought it was pretty sweet. I think pretty much based off what handful of things I do know about Hanukkah, I think it's really neat to see how the kids would obviously interpret it being only a couple years old and not really understanding anything. And I think it was a nice way to tell other kids who probably don't know anything about Hanukkah in a nice, really fun and somewhat relatable way.
Yeah. I think it was just a great introduction to the Hanukkah as a holiday. I'm a little bit more knowledgeable on Hanukkah these past few weeks. I've been really interested in watching media that's produced by Jewish people and kind of getting an understanding of their holiday. Not that I'm looking to convert or anything. I just like to learn. I like to learn about different cultures, and that was the one I'm learning about now. So I just think it's really cool that they have this really accessible thing that kids can watch and understand what Hanukkah is for the most part.
I think something to also make note is, we were talking about this off screen, but that later on in the series would get an update in its animation quality, and I think that might have actually started with season 4, we first started watching an episode from season 3, the Passover episode, and I happened to notice from the Passover to a few episodes in the new season later, there is quite an uptake in the animation quality.
I did notice that. But the series, I don't think comes to a head until like season 6, when they introduce Kimmy and they change the opening. I think that's in Flash, but it might still be traditionally drawn.
Either way, they were definitely doing some updates as the years went on.
They were.
I mean, for the longest time, Rugrats was the longest running series Nickelodeon had.
Yes, until That's So Raven. But no, that's Disney.
No, SpongeBob beat it out.
SpongeBob did beat it out.
Yes. Otherwise, they did have the award for that. 9 seasons long,
9
plus
seasons.
3 movies.
SpongeBob's still going on. It's like 24 or something now, or 38 even.
Yeah. Oof, too much SpongeBob.
Well, anyway, catch you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.